Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English. Friends, in this video I'm going to solve the model question paper of first semester B.Sc General English under Bangalore City University, and it's a new syllabus. So you won't be having any question paper. So obviously you need to follow the model question paper pattern. So before we solve the model question paper of first semester B.Sc General English, let's have a glance at the question paper pattern. What may be the question paper pattern in the examination? The examination duration will be 3 hours and the question paper weightage 80 marks. The question paper is divided into the two sections. Section A, that is a language, the literary component, that means your 7 lessons which you have in your syllabus, and that's for 50 marks. 2 marks 5 questions, 5 marks 4 questions, 10 marks 2 questions. This is how you will be getting 50 marks from the 7 lessons. And then 30 marks you'll be getting from the excuse me, 30 marks from the grammar. Here you need to answer a passage, questions from the passage, 5 marks, where you'll be getting the questions like articles, time and tense, synonyms, antonyms, etc. 10 marks, and again 7 marks, questions from the do is directed, direct and indirect speech, 4 marks, dialogue writing, 4 marks. So this is how your question paper is divided into the two important segments, 50 plus 30. So let me just remind you again, I have done a very special video where you can watch all the 7 lessons summary in single video. You need not watch you need not watch separately each lessons video from other sources. My video will give you the complete overview of all the 7 lessons, as well as I have also done the videos on grammar, so you can see all the links in the description box. Anyway, let's begin the question paper discussion here. So section A, literary components, 50 marks, and here 2 marks questions. What does telephone conversation refer to? It refers very aptly to the shallow racism being projected by the conversation between the landlady, who is white, and the poet, who is dark. This lesson is from the poem Telephone Conversation. What is the main subject of the poem Ode to Our Ocean? The main subject is here connection between the human and the ocean. What is the term microscopic dot refer to the story A Horse and Two Gods? It here refers to the tiniest village Kritam, who is one among 700 villages, and it was a microscopic dot on the survey map. Very rarely you can find out like a dot on the map the location of this village. Then the next question you have here, Jenks was proud of his whiskers. What is the main financial difficulty faced by Hughie Erskine in the story The Model Millionaire? Hughie Erskine has no stable profession. He doesn't have substantial wealth to support himself. He receives only £200 as an allowance from a relative. Then, next question, why was the author unable to make progress that morning in the essay on habits? Because his usual routine was disrupted on that particular morning, because he developed a habit of sitting in his customary chair at his desk to write something. However, on that particular morning, someone had moved his chair to another part of the room, so he is unable to make progress. That because it has become a habit for him to sit on a particular chair. Last question: what was the speaker's childhood ambition in the speech? We should all be feminist. Her her childhood ambition was to become a writer. So out of 7 questions, you are going to select only 5 questions. So these are the 2 into 5, 10 marks. Next, we have here uh, 20 marks question. I'm sorry, there's a typo error. It should be 4 into 5. So 4 questions, each for 5 marks, 4 into 5, 20. What is the author's experience with the new fountain pen in the essay on habits? You have to write those answers in one page. So my answers are the simple answers. You need to elaborate those answers with reference to your textbook. So what was the author's experience with the new fountain pen in the essay on habits. So, what was his experience? In A.G. Gardner's essay on habits, the author describes his experience with a new fountain pen as frustrating as unproductive. Although the pen was a modern and very superior tool, but he found it uncomfortable to use it because it disrupted his habitual way of writing. Because he was accustomed to use his old pen, and using the new pen felt very unnatural, and he was not able to write effectively. So this experience highlights one of the central ideas of the essay, the power of habits. A.G. Gardiner reflects on how deeply ingrained routines in the familiar tools can influence our behavior and our productivity, and how changes to these can feel unsettling even when they seem like improvements. So that's about this question. Question number 2. How did Muni care for his sheep and goats? Why did he carry a crook at the end of a bamboo pole in the short story A Horse and Two Goats by R.K. Narayan? So, in his prosperous days, Muni had owned a flock of sheep and goats and sailed forth every morning. He used to go, driving the flock to the highway a couple of miles away. There, he would sit on a pedestal of a clay statue of a horse while his cattle grazed around. He carried a crook at the end of a bamboo pole and snapped foliage from the avenue trees to feed his flock. He also gathered fagots and dry sticks, bundled them, and carried them gathered for fuel at sunset. This is how he used to carry the crook. Third question, describe Jeng's conversation with Solomon at the barber shop. In Jeng's Whispers, Jenks and Solomon have a funny conversation at the barber shop. Solomon reminds Jenks that he bought his whiskers for $50 and asks when he plans to give them up. Jenks, becoming uncomfortable, he tries to delay, and he says there is no rush. He even mentions that he has a ball to attend that evening and suggests waiting until later. He says that I need to attend a party, let's see later. So he doesn't answer. Solomon, calm and ready, insists that he is prepared to take the whiskers now. Jenks reluctantly agrees but keeps stalling, not wanting to part with his whiskers, which are important to his appearance. The conversation is full of humor and shows how Jenks is trying to avoid the deal he made, while Solomon remains patient and determined. Question number 4. Analyze the character of Hughie Erskine in the story The Model Millionaire. How do his traits and actions throughout the story highlight the main themes? Hughie Erskine is a charming, good looking young man, but he is not practical or successful in his career. Despite his many attempts at many jobs, he struggles financially and depends on a small allowance from his aunt. He is deeply in love with Laura Merton, but her father refuses to allow their marriage until Hughie can secure £10,000. Hughie is generous and caring, as seen when he gives a beggar a sovereign. He gives a sovereign to a beggar despite his own financial difficulties. His kindness is selfless. He never expects anything in return. So this shows the theme here that generosity can lead to the unexpected reward. And finally, at the end of the story, we have seen he receives an unexpected reward. What happens? The twist in the story reveals that the beggar Hughie helped is actually the beggar whom he had given some amount. He was the wealthiest person, Baron Hosberg, and who rewards Hughie with £10,000. This surprising turn highlights the themes of fate, unpredictability of fortune, and how appearances can be deceiving. While Hughie lacks material wealth, his good heart and generosity bring him the fortune he needs. Oscar Wilde uses Hughie's character to show that True worth often lies beyond outward appearances, and fate can dramatically change one's life through acts of kindness and chance. Next question, last question for 5 marks. According to Adichie, becoming a class monitor was a big deal for her. How? In Adichie's story, becoming a class monitor was important because it meant having responsibility and power. The monitor could control the class by writing down noise makers' names and holding a cane. For a 9-year-old, this role felt exciting and special. It was also a way to be recognized for doing well in school. However, the teacher's decisions to give the role to a boy, even though Adichie had the highest score, shows how certain positions were often reserved for boys, which made it harder for girls to access such opportunities. So that's the reason that it was a big deal for her. So these are the 5 marks questions. Now we are moving to the 10 marks questions where you need to answer in the 2 or 3 pages. My answers are the sample answers. You can increase the length or you can elaborate those questions answers. Question number 1. How does the poem Telephone Conversation address the racial and color prejudice and discrimination in society? Discuss. I have just given an overview. You can go through the video on summary of this lesson. The poem Telephone Conversation by Wole Soyinka serves as a powerful critique of the deeply entrenched racial and color prejudice present in some societies. The poet presents a simple interaction, a phone call regarding a housing inquiry, that turns into an exposition of racist attitudes. The speaker, a West African man, finds a house with a reasonable price and an acceptable location. However, upon revealing his racial identity, he is met with an awkward silence. Then he is questioned about the exact shade of his skin color. This interrogation by the landlady symbolizes the absurdity and the offensiveness of racial discrimination. The man's sardonic responses, his very diplomatic responses, like comparing his skin color to West African sepia, and his satirical remarks about the color of his palms and the soles, that highlight the irrationality of judging individuals by skin color. So, through this interaction, the poet shows the hurtful and the dehumanizing impact of racism and discrimination. Question number 2. Evaluate the author's perspective on how habits simplify life in the essay on habits. Compare this with the effects of habit disruption as mentioned in the essay. In the essay on habit, the author emphasizes the habits simplify life by making repetitive tasks automatic and effortless. For example, the author is used to write with a pencil, which has become an extension of his hand, making it easy and comfortable for him to write without thinking. Similarly, he mentions how he created a habit of hanging his coat and hat on a specific peg at the club, which made it easier to find them without wasting time searching. So it's a good result of such habits. Same time, disruptions in these habits lead to discomfort and inefficiency. The author struggles when he tries to write with a new pen because it's quite unfamiliar. He is habitual to write with the old pen. Similarly, Mr. Balfour becomes visibly uncomfortable during a speech when he cannot find his lapels to hold, since it's his habit to touch it. So these examples show how habits simplify life, but when such habits are disrupted, they can cause confusion and frustration. Question number 3, the last question for 10 marks. Adichie argues that we must challenge gender stereotypes that perpetuate inequality between men and women. Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie argues that gender stereotypes like the idea that only boys can be leaders or that women must look less feminine to be taken seriously. Such ideas create inequality between men and women. For example, Adichi was a child. She got the highest score in the test, but she was not allowed to be the class monitor because she was female. This shows how gender stereotypes limit opportunities for women even when they are capable. She also talks about how society pressures men to be tough and hide their emotions, which harms them. For example, boys are taught not to show fear and the vulnerability, leading to fragile egos. Women, on the other hand, are often taught to shrink their ambitions to avoid threatening men, like how a successful woman is expected to hide her success in public. Adichie believes that challenging these stereotypes will help both men and women live more freely and create true equality. So these were the questions, 50 marks questions from the 7 lessons we have discussed here. Don't forget, I had done a special video on those 7 lessons summary in single video. You can see the link of that video in the description, and also all the grammar links you can see in the description. Now we are moving towards the grammar of this model question paper, the grammar which has the weightage for 30 marks. In the very first question in the grammar we have here, reading comprehension. Traditionally, read the passage and answer 5 questions based on it and get 5 marks. I'm quite a bit fast now. Do as directed. This is very important, which we have multiple questions on various themes. Very first questions we have here, articles and prepositions. Articles. So you'll be having here 2 marks questions based on the articles. You have to fill the blank with an appropriate article. So she bought a book and placed it on the table. So articles, 2 marks. Then they arrived at the airport, went directly to their gates. Prepositions, 2 marks. Tense, she went, go, past tense of go, she went to the store and bought some groceries. Tense for 2 marks. Then question text. He's coming to the party, isn't he? They haven't finished the project yet, have they? Why? He's coming to the party without not. When the sentence is positive, question text should be negative. When the sentence is negative, question text should be positive, vice versa. So articles 2 marks, prepositions 2 marks, tenses 2 marks, question text 2 marks. How many marks? 8. Then you have another 2 marks questions, underlined words to frame the question. You need to frame the question. The commission was appointed to look into the matter. So to get this underlined word as an answer, you have to frame a question. Why was the commission appointed? Okay. Second question, there were 5 members in the commission. To get the 5 members as an answer, you have to frame a question. How many members were in the commission? So reverse engineering, you have to do it here. So this is how 10 marks questions here. 2 marks articles, 2 marks prepositions, 2 marks tenses, 2 marks question text, 2 marks question framing. WS questions, I mean to say, how you used to have in your +2. Next segment, again for I think 7 marks. Let us see. Communication. They'll be asking questions from communication skills, verbal, non-verbal communication. I have done special video on this. See the link in the description. What is verbal communication? What is non-verbal communication? Verbal communication, we use words. Non-verbal communication, we use body language. 2 marks. Then synonyms. A word is given here, barbarous. You have to find the synonym. Synonym means to say same meaning. So what is the synonym of barbarous is here? Savage. 1 mark. Antonym, again 1 mark. Antonym means to say the opposite of the given word. The opposite of humiliation is here pride. 1 mark. Then we have here prefix suffix. So you already given here ing, mis, ment, abl. So you need to add here 1 prefix and 1 suffix. So he was misunderstanding the instructions. Before understand miss, after understand ing. Misunderstanding the instructions, which led to his achieve in the project. 2 marks. You are getting here 2 marks directly. Very good. Now, suitable homonym. Homonym means different spelling, different meaning, but same pronunciation. The queen honored the brave knight, not N-I-G-S-T, K-N-I-G-S-T. Knight means like a king. So what's the answer? K-N-I-G-S-T, knight. So this is how you are getting the marks here or the questions here. Next questions you have here, direct, indirect speech. So here, this is quite technical question. 4 questions are given, vice versa. One question you may have to write direct speech. Another question you may have to convert into indirect speech. Let's see how. She said, close the window. What is the indirect speech? She asked to close the window. It's an instruction. She asked to close the window. She said that she was driving a car. Now you have to do in the reverse engineering, right? You have to write a indirect speech here. She said, comma, I was driving a car. Got it? I'm sorry, I am driving a car. So when you convert this, this becomes an answer. The coach said, practice regularly. The coach instructed to practice regularly. He said that they had won the game. He said, comma, we have won the game. So you need to convert direct to indirect and indirect to direct. 4 questions. You can watch my video on reported speech. The link is in the description box. Last question you have here, dialogue writing, and you need to write the dialogue on a given situation. You can go through this question. If you do not like to write the dialogue, this for the 4 marks. Don't forget 4 marks. You have an option here. You can even fill the blank dialogues also. These are the blank dialogues which I have filled here on a given situation. So dialogue writing is for 4 marks. So this is how, and this is the again a brief picture of your complete syllabus, 7 lessons, 6 important topics from the grammar. And friends, this is how I have solved the first semester BA General English model question paper under Bangalore City University. Friends, if you like this video, click on the like button, write in the comment box, and please do subscribe my channel. You'll be having many more videos in the days to go in second semester, third semester, fourth semester. So it's a continuous journey we'll be having together. So please do forward this video to your friends so that everybody can get best marks. And thank you so much for watching this video. I wish you very good luck for the examination, and also watch my videos, and those links are in the description box. Thank you once again.